Good morning, this is Rashad Mitchell coming to you live from my YouTube channel. It's like a team on my part series. Professional sports teams that didn't win the championship during that season, part 57. The team we're going to be talking about today, as far as the NFL teams are concerned, is the 1989 New York Giants. This definitely was a team that should have won the championship in 89. They were 12-40, won the NFC East, but they lost a tough game, a heartbreaking loss to the Los Angeles Rams in the divisional playoff game that was known as the Flipper Answer game. Now, the backdrop of this team is that they was coming off, a disappointing 1988 where they lost to the Jets. They were eliminated in the playoffs by the Jets, and they were contending for a playoff spot, and the victory would have secured their spot in the division title. Although they were, 6-point favorites, the Giants unfortunately were unable to, not block or, handle the defense of the Jets, who sacked Phil Simms, 8 times. So the Jets' victory, along with the victories by the Eagles and the Rams, eliminated the Giants from contention. And that was it for the Giants for 88. So 89, fast forward to 89, the new season, and the Giants were back in the playoffs. And they was able to again win the division, but they lost in the divisional playoff round to the Rams of Los Angeles, coached by Bill Parcells, obviously. Now this team obviously had Pro Bowlers like Lawrence Taylor, and Phil Simms was the quarterback, but there was a guy named David Meggett, David Meggett. David Meggett was a guy, was a 5th-round pick out of Townsend State, who took the league by storms as a special teams player, as a specialist. This guy was definitely an impact player for the Giants. And I remember that team. I remember Dave Meggett so well, vividly, and how he was such an impact player, not just on special teams and kickoff and punt returns, but also a key player out of the backfield, the way he made plays in the backfield, catching the ball. And like his first game that he played, the first game that the Giants played in the 89 season was against the Redskins on Monday night on September 11th. The Giants won 27-24, and Dave Meggett caught a 62-yard touchdown pass from Phil Simms. So that's his first ever game as a rookie. He makes an impact already, 62-yard pass. Because the thing about Meggett is that Meggett was a fast, shifty player, he was quick. You know what I'm saying? When he got the ball in his hands, it was hard to stop him. Just like there was a game against the Denver Broncos, I remember that, where he caught a 57-yard touchdown pass. I think it was on 3rd down and very long, and he was able to do whatever it is that he wanted to do to make that play. 57-yard touchdown by Phil Simms. He did a lot of that during that season at times, just making plays, the screen pass. And that's what made Dave Meggett a dangerous player. He was that lethal player. Ability to just make plays on special teams, the ability to make plays in the passing game, because he wasn't really your typical prototypical running back. He had the ability to just do damage in other ways than just running the ball. As a receiver, he was so fast you couldn't catch him. He just made an impact. He went to his first Pro Bowl, and as a rookie. What I want to look at is a game between. I want to see what down it was, because I was against the Broncos. That's the same game Gary Reasons put a big hit on Bobby Humphrey. I think it was snowing too. I want to look at what down that was when Dave Meggett scored on the 57-yard touchdown. Yeah, that was known as the hit. Yep. It was in the snow. You see what down that was because it had to be like third down and long when he caught that pass. He went all the way for a touchdown. Had 8 inches of snow fell on Mile High Stadium, the old Mile High Stadium at that time. So if I can't find it, it's all good. I'm gonna keep moving. But that shows you how big of a player Dave Meggett was out of that backfield, man. This ability to, catch the ball out of the backfield and take it a long distance, 57 yards. And he did the same thing against the Redskins. First game of the season, he had a 62-yard touchdown pass in his first ever game as an NBA player. An NFL player. Big part. Just trying to find it. Either way, man, he did his thing, man. He was a joy to watch as a player, man. He was just such a big time player. Really just to make that play and make that catch at Mile High Stadium and make that play and just go all the way for a touchdown. That was vintage David Meggett. That was a pass catcher out of that backfield. He did his thing as far as punt returns, kick returns. He was that all-purpose player. So I'm gonna just leave it alone, just keep it moving. But anyway, the Giants played the Rams, a team that they actually played during the regular season, lost 31 to 10, and obviously these two teams were familiar going into these playoffs. When they played each other in the regular season. So the thing is that the Giants should have won this championship. Yes, the 49ers was great at what they did. They were 14-2. But the Giants could have beaten the 49ers. I think they would have beaten them. But let's look into what went wrong in this game against the Rams. Now the Giants were up 6-0. Raul Allegre kicked a couple field goals in the first quarter. And then Flipper Anderson caught a 20-yard touchdown pass from Jim Everett to make it 7-6. The Giants came back. Otis Anderson scored. It was 13-7. And Lansford Mike Lansford's kicked a couple field goals to tie that 13-13. And then let's go over it right now. Okay. This was an upset, man. Jim Everett's 30-yard touchdown pass to Flipper Anderson, 106 gone in the overtime, won that game. Now the Giants opened the game by moving into the Rams territory after one play. The drive started inside the 20. New York settled for a 35-yard field goal by Raul Allegre on the Rams' first drive of the game. Giants linebacker Lawrence Taylor forced a fumble while sacking Everett that Gary Reeves recovered for the New York Giants on the Giants' 11-yard line. So Raul Allegre later kicked the second first quarter field goal to make the score 6-0. But in the second quarter, the Giants quarterback Phil Sims threw a pass that was deflected by Jerry Gray, intercepted by Michael Stewart, returned to 29 yards to the Giants' 20-yard line. And then on the next play, Everson threw a 20-yard touchdown pass to Flipper Anderson with just 17 seconds left in the half, giving the Rams a 7-6 halftime lead. So on the opening drive of the second half, Everett was intercepted in the end zone by the Giants defensive back Mark Collins. Later on, New York put together an 82-yard, 14-play drive to take the lead. Sims completed pass to Dave Maggott for 11 yards and Zeke Mowat for 23. Running back Otis Anderson ran 6 times for 28 yards, including a 2-yard touchdown run to make the score 13-7 with 2 minutes remaining in the quarter. But LA stormed right back, with Everett completing 2 passes to Henry Ellard for gains of 23 and 16 yards, along with a 16-yard run by Greg Bell on the way to a 31-yard field goal by Mike Lansford. Later in the quarter, Everett completed 6 of 7 passes for 44 yards. He rushed for 12 yards on a 75-yard drive that ended with Lansford's 21-yard field goal with 3:01 left, tying the score and sending the game into overtime. So after winning the coin toss, Los Angeles needed just one drive and 106 to win the game. Starting from their own 23-yard line, Everett completes to tight end Pete Holohan and Ellard for gains of 12 and 13 yards, moved the ball to the 48. But on the next play, Giants defensive back Sheldon White was called for a 27-yard pass interference penalty while trying to cover Anderson. Following a 5-yard false start penalty against the Rams, Everett connected with Anderson for a 30-yard touchdown completion. Ellard had the best postseason performance of his career, catching 8 passes for 125 yards. Lawrence Taylor had 2 sacks. Otis Anderson had 120 yards. It proved to be the final playoff win for the Rams franchise that was in LA at the time before they relocated to St. Louis in 1995, and it was their last as a franchise until 1999, and their last playoff win as the LA Rams until the 2018 season. So that concludes a look at that, man. This Flipper Anderson was a very underrated receiver. Him and Ellard was a dynamic duo of a tandem of receivers up there with John Taylor and Jerry Rice. And you can see also, before there was an Isaac Bruce, before there was a Torrey Hope, there was Henry Ellard and Philip Anderson. They were the ones that they was doing the thing, as playmakers, man. They were just on another level in terms of how they performed as a tandem. And his name is Willie Lee Flipper Anderson Jr. Actually, he's from New Jersey. He was born in Paulsboro, New Jersey, went to UCLA. Second round pick in 1988. So he was in his second season. Flipper Anderson, he was making an impact right away. He wasn't a veteran, he was very young. Also, as a Ram, he set the NFL record for most receiving yards in a game with 336 receiving yards against the Saints on November 26, 1989. Anderson accumulated 40 of those yards in overtime. So that's the most yards receiving in the game. I guess that record still stands to this day. I don't know. I guess it has been broken. Not sure, but it is what it is. This dude was a playmaker. Also, he won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos in 1997. Yeah, he didn't have a Hall of Fame career. He only caught 267 passes, 5,357 yards receiving, and scored 28 touchdowns. So he wasn't, a Hall of Fame receiver. He was pretty good. But the other guy that he played alongside, and Henry Ellard, definitely he should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he is. Henry Ellard was a big-time receiver in terms of catching the ball. Very prolific. Look at his numbers. He went to Fresno State, second-round pick. Played his longest years was with the Rams from 1983 to 1993. 3-time Pro Bowl receiver, a 2-time first-team All-Pro. Led the league in receiving yards in 1988. And Henry Ellard caught 814 passes, 13,777 yards receiving, and he scored 65 touchdowns. So you look at that, man, you thinking, wow, he should be in a Hall of Fame. His numbers are Hall of Fame worthy. Look at the 1,000 yards because he played the Rams, Redskins, and the Patriots. So look at this 1,000 yard receiving seasons that he had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1,000 yard seasons. So that concludes a look at the Giants, man. 1989, they go to the Rams, a team that they should have beaten, but they didn't do enough to capitalize on the opportunities they had in that divisional playoff game. The Rams would go on to the championship game and lose to the eventual champion, San Francisco 49ers. So that's the story on that. So that concludes a look at the 1989 New York Giants, a team that should have won the championship that year. I believe they should have won it. The good news is that they won it the next year in 1990 and beat the Buffalo Bills. And Super Bowl 25 may have been the best Super Bowl ever played in terms of how the game was played, things of that nature. So that concludes this video for part 57 of the professional sports teams that didn't win the championship during that season. You can like, subscribe, do whatever you can to support the channel. We appreciate it. It's part 57, professional sports teams that didn't win the championship during that season. Part 57, the 1989 New York Giants. Until then, talk to you tomorrow.